Over the weekend, political commentator Laura Loomer tweeted, "The ABC whistleblower who claimed ABC News gave Kamala Harris the presidential debate questions ahead of the presidential debate has exclusively given me a copy of the official complaint they filed with the SEC today." She also claims that, as of today, the Securities and Exchange Commissioner, SEC, has acknowledged receipt of 2 complaints lodged against Disney, the owner of ABC News. Now, the good thing is that she also released screenshots of the complaint, and according to those, the whistleblower told the SEC that "I have heard and observed observations and have evidence in hand of ABC News, a wholly owned subsidiary of Disney Media Networks, which is a division of the Walt Disney Company, collusion between ABC News and the Kamala Harris campaign for the presidency of the United States. It is my belief from the context of the conversations that ABC News in the debate held on September 10th, 2024, and at other various times before and after this debate to influence the presidential election. I would like to emphatically state that I am not a Donald Trump supporter and have never voted for Donald Trump. The context of the conversations heard, and among other observations, is that ABC News is working with the Kamala Harris campaign and that Disney may exact monetary or other future considerations if they aid in the election of Kamala Harris. I have sat idly by for years and watched the media on both sides of the political spectrum become nothing more than campaign ads for politicians. It is clear that there are multiple considerations being exchanged in this current presidential campaign. I have enclosed further evidence for your consideration. Please note, this evidence contains personal information of mine, and I wish for it to remain undisclosed for safety considerations for my family. Now, usually we would be very skeptical of something like this, but she even goes on to give us the submission numbers of the complaints. And according to these screenshots, the automated response to the complaint goes like this: "Thank you for contacting the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. This automated response confirms that your submission has been received successfully. Please note, however, that it is in the Commission's policy to conduct its own investigation on a non-public basis in order to preserve the integrity of its investigative process." And here's the most important part. Subject to the provisions of the Freedom of Information Act, we cannot disclose to you any information which we may gather, nor can we confirm the existence or non-existence of an investigation unless such information is made a matter of public record in proceedings brought before the Commission or the courts. So they're basically saying that we probably will not find out anything unless by some miracle they actually try to bring these bad eggs in front of a judge. I don't know about you, but I certainly will not be holding my breath, since I know too well how easy it is to bury any kind of investigation in the name of the public interest. Hell, we still don't know what they did to JFK after all these years, and since no media outlet is brave enough to talk about this, there really isn't any pressure on these federal agencies to give us any answers. Now, this isn't the only investigation going on against the vice president. She also finds herself in rather hot and muddy waters thanks to her absolute failure to run the BEAD program.
$42 billion, not a single dollar has been spent, not a single person has been connected to broadband service under this program, under the watch and supervision of the so-called broadband czar, Vice President Kamala Harris.
Now, for those of you who haven't heard that name before, BEAD stands for the Broadway Equity Access and Deployment Program, which provides $42.5 billion to expand high-speed internet access by funding planning, infrastructure, deployment, and adoption programs in all 50 states, including Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, American Samoa, and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. And if you're wondering why you haven't heard a single peep about a $42 billion program, well, the short answer is that it hasn't made any progress at all. In fact, according to most organizations, this super expensive program has not connected a single household to the global internet even after all these years. Now, the program was already getting a lot of criticism from industry leaders like Elon Musk, who tweeted, "This government program is an outrageous waste of taxpayer money and is utterly failing to serve people in need." But even if we accept the huge bill, this administration and the program leader, Kamala Harris, still have to answer as to why it has gone absolutely nowhere. Luckily, Marjorie Taylor Greene is there to ask the right questions, and in the latest hearing, she certainly did not hold back while telling everyone exactly what happened to those billions of taxpayer dollars.
Maybe it's because this is also in the headlines that Harris announces plans to help 80% of Africa gain access to the internet, up from 40% now. Talk about a policy failure. Talk about not delivering results to the American people. Spending $42 billion, yet not having one household connected to the internet. Mr. Carr, is that actually true? Not one home got internet?
That's correct. In Georgia alone, there's about 257,000 homes and businesses that lack internet today. So that's potentially millions of people that were supposed to be connected through this program. $42 billion was enough money to actually end the digital divide in this country with competent implementation. Unfortunately, we have not cleared that hurdle. We have stories out right now that describe the implementation as chaotic, dysfunction, delays, no guidance, finger pointing, messy, delayed rollout. That's just not getting the job done.
That's right, Mr. Carr. And many of those homes and businesses are actually in my district, and they're outraged. You know, we're over $35 trillion in debt. Biden-Harris administration has been in charge for nearly 4 years, but not one home and business has gotten internet. It's outrageous. This is so concerning to me. How can the woman, Kamala Harris, that is telling the country right now she wants to be president of the United States, actually ask for this job if she has not been able to deliver what the president assigned her to do, which was to take that $42 billion and provide internet to the American people?
And while we're talking about Kamala Harris, let's take a look at how ABC News finally decided to fact-check one of her most ridiculous statements. If you can remember, this is what the vice president had to say when they asked her about the withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war. And as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century. What? But let's understand.
So where the are we right now?
And here's an ABC journalist debunking that claim with gritted teeth.
I have a lot of experience in that area as well. There are currently 900 U.S. military personnel in Syria, 2,500 U.S. troops in Iraq. All have been under regular threat from drones and missiles.
While they were quick to fact-check about this topic, they didn't even mention her confusing policies regarding gun laws, but I'm going to show you just how two-faced she can be.
And assault weapons have been designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly. They are weapons of war, and there is no place for them on a civil society, on the streets of a civil society.
I am a gun owner, and Tim Walz, my running mate, is also a gun owner. We're not taking anybody's guns away.
And now that she has the big media companies supporting her, she cannot stop talking about another debate.
Join me on the debate stage. Let's have another debate. There's more to talk about, and the voters of America deserve to hear the conversations that I think we should be having on substance, on issues, on policies. What's your plan? What's my plan? And we should have another one before Election Day.
Now, when she says policy issues, she only means January 6th and family values, and of course, that's all we need to hear about. Am I right? Now, as you can imagine, we know Trump is certainly not going to take the bait and fall into this trap once again. That's why he has straight up rejected her offer by saying that it's already too late to have another debate. Now, moving on from Kamala, let's talk about an extremely concerning and gross story that's come out in the past few days. I'm of course talking about the former NYC COVID czar, Dr. Jay Verma, who was busy attending sex parties while making lockdown policies. According to the new reports, Dr. Jay Verma, the senior public health advisor from April 2020 to May 2021 to then Mayor Bill de Blasio, was privately partying while he was publicly promoting vaccine and mask mandates, social distancing rules, and restrictions on gathering sizes. And if you're wondering, how did anyone find out about his highly unprofessional and unethical habits? Well, the man just can't stop talking about it. Just listen to what he has to say.
So funny, it's like, because I did all this like deviant, like sexual stuff while I was like, you know, like on TV and all this stuff. Yeah. And people were like, aren't you afraid? Aren't you embarrassed? And I was like, no, actually, I'm like really like I love being my authentic self. So I've had every type of range of everything. Okay. And I've been to a lot of like sex parties, lots of like play parties and things like that.
Okay, so what were the sex parties like during COVID?
So that I didn't. So I never went to a like public type one. We actually had like my wife and I like had one with our friends, like in August of like that first summer, because all our friends were just like, well, it wasn't so much sex. They were just like, I need to get like this energy out of me and stuff like that. Yeah. So we rented a hotel. I think kind of sort of, kind of sneaky about it because hotels didn't want people gathering there. Because I was like running the entire response of the city. I like had a whole I had everything get tested the right way. Told me where to get tested, showed me the results. And it was fun. We all like took like Molly and just like it was like 8 or 9 of us and 8 to 10 of us in a room and everybody had a blast because everybody was like so pent up because it had been like everybody was just like stuck together and stuff like that.
And this is the same man who was also on the news advising the public about COVID-19.
You got to get vaccinated, and we want basically anybody 5 and above to have had 3 doses of vaccine. People know how to wear masks. They know how to get tested. They know that there's treatment available.
The vaccine is not the virus. The vaccine is just like a little genetic code that kind of tells your body, watch out for something that looks like this. Something's going to look like this virus.
Well, who would have ever thought that a big spokesperson for vaccines and lockdowns could turn out to be a freak who lies through his teeth? Really, who could have known? And that's going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed, please double check to make sure you have not been magically unsubscribed. As always, I truly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to catch you on the next one.